Welcome back to the Home and Life Design Summit, Season 3, where we are meeting with gifted intuitives and awakened leaders and mystics, having conversations around embodying art and beauty to create more joy. I am your host, Fallon Jordan, and I'm so excited and delighted to have Salicrow here. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So fun. I love saying your name, it's so powerful.
Oh, yeah. Well, it is my spiritual name, so I've worked with it professionally for many years, but it was my name many years before that. But yes, it does have a lot of my own personal power behind it.
I love that. We can totally get into that after I just tell the audience a teeny bit about me first. Salicrow is a natural psychic medium. She's been aware of her gifts since childhood, which is just super amazing. And she's been working as a seer for over 30 years, using the tarot and runes as her tools. And with her ability to divine the future and revisit the past, she advises her clients with compassion and a straightforward approach, which is why I'm excited to talk to you because I love that approach too. And as a medium, she's able to help people connect with their beloved, and including people who have crossed over and making connections so that they know that they are always watched over and protected. Because I know when we lose somebody, a lot of people's go-to is they're never really gone, but like we can do things to really strengthen that relationship. And I'm so grateful that you are doing this work.
Thank you. I'm thankful to be living in a time when I can do this work in what I would like to say pretty freely. There's times where this was not always such a blessing. So
It's crazy. And I really appreciate you saying that because, like, I have been going through something over the past year where it is, we would get our heads cut off or,
hmm
like all of these things. And it's like, how amazing is that we're really stepping up and just claiming our sovereignty and celebrating our gifts because you're able to help so many people. And I mean,
Yeah.
actually doing
Yeah,
this.
it really is a powerful time to be living in. And there's a lot of, we're also living in a very difficult time, but at the same time, it's a pretty amazing time to be alive.
It really is. I love it. So I would love to hear a little bit more about your name before we dive into the actual
Oh,
topic.
okay, sure. So, Crow is a name that has been attached to my family spiritually for a very long time. My great grandmother was my first teacher, and her mother was Blackfoot Native American, and her father was an Irish traveler. So, um, and many people, the name Crow is attached to her her mother's family, and there's many people in my family have used the name Crow in association with them or have Crow tattoos, and it has been my spirit animal for many years, as well as I have a relationship with the Morrigan and Odin, who are both like crow and raven people. So, yeah, it's in what happened was I literally was in Ireland in 2013 and I checked in at a public library because it's one of the only places that had Wi-Fi at the time. And I know, right? So, and my email, I had like a Hotmail account at the time, completely would never let me back in because they thought that my account had been somehow hacked or something like that. And it affected my Facebook. And this was with my actual legal last name, and which was kind of hard to pronounce or spell because my husband's French, so it's Tetro, but it's like Tetreault. So it was kind of like this simultaneous shift that came about from just traveling, but was really pretty significant in the, I think, the development of my business, not in my skill, but in the accessibility of people being able to recognize me and find me. So it
Wow.
had its own benefits. But crows are like that, crows are all about communication and they're all about, what's going on, and they're kind of nosy, but they also spread the word.
That is
I say difference between being nosy and a gossip, okay? I don't think that anybody can actually be a practicing intuitive and not be nosy. Okay. We
100%.
have to have this part of us that wants to know. The difference is we are not gossips because we'd be out of business really quickly if we were.
100%. And I am so grateful for that story. Like literally this whole week has been crows, birds,
Ooh, all right. Yeah.
the meaning of names. So I'm just like so lit up that all of these things have just been like perfectly going to place. And of course they would, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's the way it works.
I love that. And I was saying before, I love your background and the colors and all of that. And I would love to hear more about just your relationship with art and beauty. And when I invited you to come, like what even that means to you.
Oh, so Um, well, actually, when I was in my 20s, I was a clothing designer. And I mean, it was a small business. I had my own business and it was a witchy business. I did mostly like wedding dresses and festival type clothing. I've loved fashion well, since I just went to see Barbie last night, and people are kind of shocked by that. And I'm like, you have no idea. Barbie was such a huge influence in my life because I made my own clothes, I made my own doll furniture. Um, so yeah, art is huge. I would say that's probably simultaneously been my other love. And I put on a lot of productions. So
Fun.
I have like a psychic soiree coming up this Friday at my establishment. I do those things regularly. I'm having a witches ball this year. I'm like a drama geek, so I love that piece of it. Um, but more interestingly to a lot of people is my land because I also practice geomancy and I've built earth altars on my property in many places. There's trails through my woods that open up into glades, and there's a fairy well that's made. I have a large white quartz outcropping behind my house, so like natural stone. I've built a 13-foot stone spiral in my yard that looks like a snake, and it has a copper grid underneath of it, and it's made out of white quartz. So yeah, I've got an interesting, powerful piece of property that I am the steward of. So
Wow. And you're in New England, right?
yeah, I'm in Vermont.
Yeah.
And I did train for a few years in Druidry with Ivan Macbeth. He is passed over now, but Ivan was one like he had built like 27 stone circles in his life, so he was a modern mega like huge stones that he would work with and stuff. So I did learn a lot from just being around him and going to stone circles in the UK and Ireland and really good stuff.
That is amazing. And again, like so aligned with like everything I've been like obsessing about. I love it so much. So I can see how that would make you really happy and like help you get centered. What are some other
Hmm.
that bring you joy?
Oh, um I am joyful most of the time. So I would say that I'm kind of other people might think of me as an optimist. I love people. I am, I really love nature. I have a super deep connection to nature. Often saying that, like going to the river is my church. That's why I'm going to church.
Mhm.
I I love connecting with different kinds of energy. So I'm really easily pleased. Like, um, I've done a couple of, I say, slow road trips where we just stay on like rural routes.
Yeah.
And usually with those things, and I mean, I'm talking about I've gone from like Vermont to West Virginia that way. So those are significant long. Um, and the first time I did it, my husband drove the whole way because I am the passenger who's like, oh my God, did you see that? That color was just so amazing. Like I can really, I find joy very easily. So I feel very fortunate with that.
I love that. And I'm sure some people are thinking what I'm thinking, which is like, well, of course, because you were like intuitively gifted as a child and like you lived your life in this beautiful place. What would you say to us?
Um, I'd say that learning how to play
Mhm.
is one of the most important things that we can do. And my parents were hippies, so we really they specialized in play. We did plenty of that. And not everybody has the same upbringing. Sometimes who they are is very stifled, and they have to first begin with healing.
Mhm.
So, investing time and energy into yourself and money sometimes. Sometimes it does require money, like because to see a healer costs money, to see a psychic costs money, to go back to school costs money. Um, but we all, I mean, granted, these are hard times, so I'm very aware of that, like you just got to pay put food on your table first, but we make choices on what we do with our time and energy
Mhm.
and really starting to ask ourselves about that because play is can be free. Play can be going for a stroll in the park if you don't live in the country.
Mhm.
Play can be going to a free art exhibit. There are tons of free art exhibits in every city and even in small towns. Like Vermont is a very artistic state, and we have a lot of free art and a lot of free music. But a lot of times people don't take advantage of those things. So I would say if you're really needing to find joy, play. Don't worry about whether you have the right shoes to go on the hike or whether you got a fancy backpack. Don't worry about whether your outfit is perfect or whether, you're new and maybe the other people aren't. Like we got so much judgment of ourselves and so much worry. But the thing is that everybody else is busy worrying about themselves,
Exactly. Yeah. And I love what you
you
said.
know? Um, and once we start to realize that, we really do start to shift. And I am very fortunate in my work. I have worked with many, 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 many people and taught them how not only to experience magic, but also to just experience life. Like I had a retreat at my property last weekend, and one of the things that we did was we went for a barefoot walk in the woods.
Yay.
And that is a couple of things. One, it's really amazing because I have a lot of moss and stuff. But two, like one of the women was from Seattle. She had never been, I mean, she didn't have that kind of experience. So while it was fun and exciting for her, it also put her outside her comfort zone, which is also really important.
Totally.
Um, so sometimes it's that simple stuff. It's like going and sitting by a babbling brook or going to the free concert in town or, drinking your coffee with your eyes closed so
Mhm.
that you're really just smelling and tasting.
I love that. Yeah. Walking barefoot around moss is like my dream day.
Uh, I have great moss.
I was going to say, I bet you have the best moss.
I live at, well, in New England, this is a high elevation. I live at 1,800 feet, and I live about 40 minutes from Canada. And I live on top of a small mountain that is really on ledge. So I have a lot of, stone.
Yeah.
And on top of that, moss grows because there's not a heavy layer of soil.
Mhm.
So moss is aplenty. And actually, my forest right now is filled with ghost pipe.
What is that?
Oh, you'll have to look it up. Ghost pipe is it's not a fungus, but it sort of works the same. It feeds off of the root system of trees, and it's shaped kind of like a pipe. Sometimes it's called Indian pipe, I think, as well.
Okay.
And it's white. The reason I call it ghost pipe is that it's transparent, or it really is white. There's no chlorophyll in it. So it's a really interesting
Oh,
plant, and it has a lot of connection to, if I like to use it in things that are about avoiding, chaos, like becoming invisible in some way, shape, or form. So it's got some good magical
I love it.
properties.
Yeah, when you said that, I was like Harry Potter, but then I also thought of my friend who's an herbalist and goes mushroom hunting like all over the world.
Yeah, yeah. They people do use the tinctures too.
Yeah.
I'm not an herbalist, so I don't really know the exact details on making it into a tincture. I have made it more for magical herbalism and used it in a couple of years ago. I made it with my sisters. I made a really potent spell that was about being invisible to chaos because well, I think we all can shake our head at that one, the amount of chaos that's
Yeah.
floating around out there. So, and it really was pretty potent.
That is amazing. Wow. I love that so much. So yeah, you have just like a very blissful, joyful life. And it sounds like that connection to nature, which I think all of our speakers have talked about that. And then I want to go a little bit back to the play because being so gifted your whole life and having this relationship with nature and play. I know there's a lot of people listening who are like, I want to roll around in the grass or I want to run around and just like act crazy and let out my energy like a little kid on the playground, but I'm afraid of like people judging me. I feel like there's a lot,
Mhm.
that's just a lot of the energy I've picked up from the people who are joining and listening. And I really
Yeah.
like, so I would love to hear your just kind of like your insight about that.
I would say take a dance class. You
Yeah.
know, take a dance class, take a, like ecstatic dance class. There's places where they have ecstatic dance, which is really is about learning how to just let go of the music. But if you're, one of the things that I understand that completely because so many people who do connect with myself and the center that I run and the people through it. One of the things is it's easier to play if you're playing with somebody who already does it, who's in charge of the play, because then
Yeah.
you're not the one that's really weird, right? Like,
Hey, oh my God, that's so true. I was
um,
such a control freak when I was organizing Manhunt and stuff when I was.
but yeah, there's organized play as well. Organized play can be, like I said, taking a dance class, taking an art class. And one of the things that's really cool, and I know that they're in different places of the country, is maker spaces. There's one in our area, and that is like a place where all the tools are there and they have like organized class, like on stained glass or jewelry making. And so you just got to kind of look around because there's a lot more opportunities to play. Some of them are free, and like one of the things that when I was visiting my in-laws in Florida that stood out a few years back was that there's a beach down there that has a huge drum circle regularly, like on a weekday night. And I found out it because one of my people who are part of my community sent me a link telling me I should check it out. But they literally, it's free and people just get together with their drums on the beach and drum. So, look and don't be afraid to do some of the things that are coming up in your community hub centers or whatever, because there's probably more than you think is there.
100%. That sounds so fun. I love it. So fun. Well, this has been amazing. Would you like to share what your very generous free gift is with the audience?
Sure. My free gift is a 20-minute psychic reading with me, and people can find information on me at my website, salicrow.com, which is SALICROW.com. And yeah, that's it.
Yay. And you can just click the link below to actually get on her schedule to get that reading, which is so generous. Thank you so much. And
Thank you.
people are going to show up and get some amazing insight and wisdom from you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you all so much for being here. We are on our last day of the summit. We have another interview coming your way, so we will see you there. But thank you so, so much, Salicrow.
Thank you.
Bye.